Hi, my name is Emilie Parker. I'm reading from Chapter 13, Nausicaa. The summer evening had begun to fold the world in its mysterious embrace. Far away in the west, the sun was setting, and the last glow of all too fleeting day lingered lovingly on sea and strand. On the proud promontory of dear old Howth, guarding as ever the waters of the bay, on the weed-grown rocks along sandy mount shore, and, last but not least, on the quiet church, whence there streamed forth at times, upon the stillness, the voice of prayer to her who is in her pure radiance, a beacon ever to the storm-tossed heart of man, Mary, star of the sea. The three girlfriends were seated on the rocks, enjoying the evening scene and the air, which was fresh but not too chilly. Many a time and oft were they wont to come there to their favorite nook to have a cozy chat beside the sparkling waves and discuss matters feminine. Sissy Caffrey and Edie Boardman, with the baby in the pushchair, and Tommy and Jackie Caffrey, two little curly-headed boys, dressed in sailor suits with caps to match, and the name HMS Belle Isle printed on both. For Tommy and Jackie Caffrey were twins, scarce 4 years old, and very noisy and spoiled twins sometimes, but for all that, darling little fellows with bright merry faces and endearing ways about them. They were dabbling in the sand with their spades and buckets, building castles as children do, or playing with their big colored ball, happy as the day was long. And Edie Boardman was rocking the chubby baby to and fro in the pushchair, while that young gentleman fairly chuckled with delight. He was but 11 months and 9 days old, and though still a tiny toddler, was just beginning to lisp his first babyish words. Sissy Caffrey bent over to him to tease his fat little plucks and the dainty dimple in his chin. "Now, baby," Sissy Caffrey said, "say out big, big, 'I want a drink of water.'" And baby prattled after her, "A jink-a-jink-a-jawbo." Sissy Caffrey cuddled the wee chap, for she was awfully fond of children, so patient with little sufferers, and Tommy Caffrey could never be got to take his castor oil unless it was Sissy Caffrey that held his nose, and promised him the scatty heel of the loaf, or brown bread with golden syrup on. What a persuasive power that girl had! But to be sure, baby Boardman was good as gold, perfect little dote in his fancy new bib. "None of your spoilt beauties, Flora McFlimsy's sort," was Sissy Caffrey. A true-hearted lass never drew the breath of life, always with a laugh in her gypsy-like eyes and a frolicsome word on her cherry-ripe red lips. A girl lovable in the extreme. And Edie Boardman laughed too with the quaint language of little brother. But just then there was a slight altercation between Master Tommy and Master Jackie. Boys will be boys, and our two twins were no exception to this golden rule. The apple of discord was a certain castle of sand which Master Jackie had built, and Master Tommy would have it right go wrong that it was to be architecturally improved by a front door like the Martello Tower had. But if Master Tommy was headstrong, Master Jackie was self-willed too, and true to the maxim that every little Irishman's house is his castle, he fell upon his hated rival, and to such purpose that the would-be assailant came to grief, and, alas to relate, the coveted castle too. Needless to say, the cries of discomfited Master Tommy drew the attention of the girlfriends. "Come here, Tommy," his sister called imperatively, "at once. And you, Jackie, for shame to throw poor Tommy in the dirty sand. Wait till I catch you for that." His eyes misty with unshed tears, Master Tommy came at her call, for their big sister's word was law with the twins, and in a sad plight he was too after his misadventure. His little man-o'-war top and unmentionables were full of sand, but Sissy was a past mistress at the art of smoothing over life's tiny troubles, and very quickly not one speck of sand was to be seen on his smart little suit. Still, the blue eyes were glistening with hot tears that would well up, so she kissed away the hurtness and shook her hand at Master Jackie the culprit and said if she was near him she wouldn't be far from him, her eyes dancing in admonition. "Nasty bold Jackie!" she cried. She put an arm around the little mariner and coaxed winningly. "What's your name? Butter and cream?" "Tell us who your sweetheart," spoke Edie Boorman. "Is Sissy your sweetheart?" "No," tearful Tommy said. "Is Edie Boardman your sweetheart?" Sissy queried. "No," Tommy said. "I know," Edie Boardman said none too amiably with an arch glance from her short-sighted eyes. "I know who is Tommy's sweetheart. Gertie is Tommy's sweetheart." "No," Tommy said on the verge of tears. Sissy's quick mother wit guessed what was amiss, and she whispered to Edie Boardman to take him there behind the pushchair where the gentleman couldn't see, and Hermione didn't wet his new tan shoes. But who was Gertie? Gertie McDowell, who was seated near her companions, lost in thought, gazing far away into the distance, was, in very truth, as fair a specimen of winsome Irish girlhood as one could wish to see. She was pronounced beautiful by all who knew her, though, as folks often said, she was more Giltrap than a McDowell. Her figure was slight and graceful, inclining even to fragility, but those iron jelloids she'd been taking of late had done her a world of good. Much better than the Widow Welsh's female pills, and she was much better of those discharges she used to get in that tired feeling. The waxen pallor of her face was almost spiritual in its ivory-like purity. Through her rosebud mouth was a genuine Cupid's bow. Greekly perfect, her hands were of finely veined alabaster, with tapering fingers, and as white as lemon juice, and queen of ointments could make them, though. It was not true that she used to wear kid gloves in bed, or take a milk-foot bath either. Bertha Supple told that once to Edie Boardman, a deliberate lie, when she was black out at daggers drawn with Gertie. The girl chums had, of course, their little tiffs from time to time like the rest of mortals. And she told her not to let on whatever. She did that it was her that told her, or she'd never speak to her again. No. Honor where honor is due. There was an innate refinement, a languid, queenly hauteur about Gertie, which was unmistakably evidenced in her delicate hands and high-arched instep. Had kind fate but willed her to be born a gentlewoman of high degree in her own right, and had she only received the benefit of a good education, Gertie McDowell might easily have held her own beside any lady in the land, and have seen herself exquisitely gowned with jewels on her brow and patrician suitors at her feet, vying with one another to pay their devoir to her. Mayhap it was this, the love that might have been, that lent to her softly featured face at whiles a look, tense with suppressed meaning, that imparted a strange yearning tendency to her beautiful eyes, a charm few could resist. Why have women such eyes of witchery? Gertie's were of the bluest Irish blue, set off by lustrous lashes and dark, expansive brows. Time was when those brows were not so silkily seductive. It was Madame Vera Verity, directress of the Woman Beautiful page of the Princess Novelette, who had first advised her to try eyebrow lean, which gave that haunting expression to her eyes, so becoming in leaders of fashion, and she had never regretted it. Then there was blushing scientifically cured, and how to be tall, increase your height, and you have a beautiful face, but your nose? That would suit Mrs. Dignam because she had a button one. But Gertie's crowning glory was her wealth of wonderful hair. It was dark brown with a natural wave in it. She had cut it that very morning on account of the new moon, and it nestled about her pretty head in a profusion of luxuriant clusters, and pared her nails too. Thursday for wealth. And just now, at Edie's words, as a telltale flush, delicate as the faintest rose bloom, crept into her cheeks, she looked so lovely in her sweet girlish shyness that of a surety God's fair land of Ireland did not hold her equal. Happy Bloomsday from the Rosenbach.